Enneagram type 2s. Welcome to your survival guide. Welcome to a little overview of what's going to trigger you, what your automatic responses are, some growth activities, and how your superpower is going to make this summer amazing for your kids. So as a 2, let's just refresh real quick. 2s have this need to be loved and connect with people. Relationships are everything to a 2. They need to be needed. They love to nurture and give, so much so that they don't even know what they need sometimes, but they love to nurture and give. They make such amazing parents. Oh my goodness. But a unique trigger that's gonna get you if you're a 2 is too many feelings in the house. Too many kids around, too many opportunities for conflict and discord, and so many relationships are now all around you all the time. And that's always the case, but there's something about our kids. That relationship means more to us than anything. So for it to be in your face, right there, all the time, can be a huge trigger for a 2. 2 can feel even a little bit guilty that they can't give every child what they need at all times. This is mostly seen if you have more than one child, they both need you at the same time. It can be so triggering and so guilt-inducing for a 2 to know, oh my gosh, I can't be in 2 places at the same time. I can't supply 2 needs at the same time. And even if you have one child, when you're there with you all the time, it becomes so apparent. Even if I bent myself over backwards, there are just moments where you cannot fulfill every need of your child, and that's fine. But for a 2, it's not fine. It's not okay. And there can be a lot of guilt and shame associated with that struggle. 2s can also be the ones who tend to take everyone else's kids in the summer, plan a whole summer camp for the neighborhood, and be a Martha and just do for everyone. Babysit someone else's kid if they're at work and they can't get that, like just taking on everyone else's needs and burdens. And while a 2 thrives in that, at a certain point, especially if they're not recognized, if no one says thank you, or it's just assumed, oh, of course so-and-so will take care of it, she always does, it can be very hurtful for a 2 and very triggering to not feel appreciated and to get to that point where they have just taken on too much. You've just taken on way too much. Being a martyr at some point doesn't feel quite so good as they would like. So an automatic response for a 2, they're in the shame triad, and there are 3 triads obviously, and the number 2 is in the shame triad. So their automatic response, most powerful response to anything triggering, will be shame. And that's what I was talking about, feeling like ashamed that they can't take care of everyone's needs, feeling ashamed that even when they do everything for everyone, they're not appreciated, they're not thanked, they're not seen as valuable. There's just this shame that will be your gut response when any of these triggers happen. I should have done more, I should have been more, I should have helped more, I'm never gonna be loved the way that I want to, I'm never gonna be appreciated. And oh my goodness, kids don't appreciate you for anything. Kids do not know what their parents do for them. I didn't, and now that I'm a mom, I'm like, whew, I should have said thank you like every moment of every day, and I just didn't know, and they don't know. And of course, as parents, we kind of just give them grace, but at a certain point, that can be very hurtful for a 2. It can feel like, am I not doing enough as a mom? Am I not doing enough as a dad? Am I not? That shame is just gonna eat you up inside. So 2s are in the shame triad, but 2s can be somewhat thinking repressed. And all that means is that their thinking is unproductive sometimes because it can be so wrapped up in relationships, constantly going around and around and around. When they said that, what did they mean? When I said this, what did I mean? Are they okay with me? Are we okay? What happened? What did this mean when this happened? And it's just, it can take you around in circles and in circles and in circles and become so obsessive that it actually keeps you from loving people, which is all a 2 wants to do, is love people. It can actually keep them from that because they're constantly feeling this shame and feeling this concern and feeling this uneasiness as to how things are going with everyone in every relationship in their life, especially with your kids. And that can be somewhat smothering for kids to feel like they always have to be okay with their mom, otherwise their mom's gonna not be okay. Like, you know, just putting that pressure on our kids to fulfill our love buckets when the healthy 2 is secure in their love, even if they're not always appreciated, even if they're not always needed, even if they're not always shown the love that they feel they deserve. A 2 can be secure in their love, and that really is an amazing step for a 2 to move into growth and a higher awareness. So as you move through summer and you're not appreciated, or you're taking on everything for everyone and you're feeling a little bit burnt out, or there's so many feelings and emotions in the house and relationships, and you feel like, okay, I'm exhausted just from the emotions of it all. A great thing to do is just become aware. Okay, when this happens, I'm gonna spiral into shame. I'm gonna spiral into an obsessive thinking about relationships at all the time. And I can stop and I can choose what would be a healthier response. I can choose to have a higher awareness. I can choose to not go with my automatic response, but put on the brakes and make a healthier choice. So a growth activity for a 2 would be to ask themselves 2 questions. 1, is this mine to do? When you feel like you want to do everything, when you feel like you want to bring a meal for so-and-so and babysit someone else's kids and do every single craft that your child wants to do, or fulfill every single need that they have, ask yourself, is this mine to do? Just that pause allows you to pull out of that automatic desire to say yes, let's do it all, and allows you to pause and actually ask that question, is this healthy? Is this mine to do? And also, who is my priority? Because a 2 may want to help the world at the neglect of maybe their own child or their spouse, or especially themselves. So deciding who is my priority can help a 2 to say no to bringing a meal to a friend, even though it's killing them inside, because they ask themselves, is this mine to do? And who is my priority? And they decided, my child needs me tonight. My spouse needs me tonight. I need me tonight. That's a big thing for a 2 to do. To choose themselves over someone else is huge and unbelievably momentous and not easy to do. That's why it's a growth activity. Growth activities are uncomfortable. Growth activities are almost something we have to force ourselves to do. It doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel right. But once you choose to do it, it actually brings a level of healing and balance to that nurturing, helping, gotta be needed by everyone and just provide for everyone. Taking a minute to provide for yourself, to decide who's your priority. Not everyone can be your priority. That's really hard for a 2 to hear, but not everyone can be your priority. And sometimes you have to choose, is it gonna be my child, my husband, my spouse, my family, myself, or am I gonna help the whole world? Sometimes we can help the world and still keep our family our priority. Sometimes we can't. And stopping and asking those 2 questions, what is mine to do and who is my priority, can help a 2 stop the automatic cycle, be mindful, and make a really good healthy choice so that the summer feels abundant. The summer feels fresh and joyful and like we've honored our priorities instead of scattered and frantic and emotionally draining. And that's what I want for you. So, what is your superpower as a 2? Well, if you haven't already picked it up, you are just the sweetest. You're just the sweetest. You love on your friends. Love on your friends, and especially the ones who are lonely. Summer can be a lonely time. If you're used to being around like all the school parents, or kids are used to being in school and having all their friends around, all of a sudden we all just kind of suck into our little homes away from everyone for a couple of months. Some people travel and they're not around, and it can be a lonely time. So as a 2, your superpower is just bring in those lonely people, love on those lonely friends. Let that superpower of knowing how everyone in the room is feeling allow you to go and help that wounded soul and that hurting soul. That is such a superpower that you have. That is beautiful. Your house is going to be the house that everyone flocks to. Press into that. Enjoy that. Let that grow. Let that flourish. As long as you're willing to do the growth activity and balance it out with a little bit of self-care and a little bit of boundaries and a firm knowledge of what your priorities are.